Hey dudes, Sylvite Soltis here today to finally conclude my Scarlet story. Last time, we went into the library to obtain some Scarlet keys, and along the way we killed Houndmaster Loxi, got me a new dagger, and experienced the most epic soundtrack in World of Warcraft. Well, today, we're going to finish off my trip to Scarlet Monastery with a trip to church. That's right. It's time to head in and face the final challenge, the Cathedral. Before getting into that though, remember to subscribe so that you don't miss any more videos when they come out. With still about half a year until WoW Classic releases, it'll be lots of fun to keep the hype train going. But for now, on with the story. Our group ran back out of the library, making our way over to the entrance of the Cathedral wing of the dungeon. Now that I had my key, I was looking forward to using it on the door. However, just as we approached, a group that was leaving the cathedral opened the door and ran out, leaving the door wide open for us as I was just about to click it. Oh well, so much for using my key. Anyway, we entered the final wing of SM, ready to take out the baddies within and finally complete the quest. That first hall, while fairly long, was pretty straightforward. We'd learned to be careful of fleeing mobs as we killed each pack, thanks to the armory, and so we managed to clear it without much trouble. One thing I noticed, however, was that this dungeon was a big step up in difficulty for our level 37 to 39 characters, and I knew I'd have to bring my healing A-game. When we reached the end of the first hall, the tank carefully looked ahead. This was apparently his first time in here as well, so he wasn't sure where the mobs were. Running a little way into that next room, where the fountain was located, he was greeted with a pack of mobs on each side and one patrol, all of whom wanted him dead. We did our best to recover, but it was too much, and we wiped. Okay, not the best start, but, you know, things happen, right? We ran back and tried again. This time, he carefully used line of sight to face pull the pack to the right of the doorway, while not aggroing those on the left. Our mage sheeped one ad, and we managed to get that pack squared away. We rinsed and repeated for the rest of the entryway until all was clear before finally stepping out into the gardens beyond. And now came the fun part. You see, the gardens were not only full of packs of mobs, but also patrols if I remember correctly. So as we made our way over to the fountain to climb the stairs, killing the packs to the left and right as we went, we had several instances of unintentional chain pulls, where one mob would flee just close enough to a patrolling Scarlet soldier, or the next pack of mobs, and we'd have to improvise. We must have wiped at least 2 more times here, and my gear was starting to turn red from all the deaths. But nevertheless, we pushed on. Through careful vigilance and positioning, we slowly progressed up the stairs and over to the cathedral's entrance, the gigantic doors looming in front of our party as we approached. The warrior made a point to clear out everything in front of the building, as he wasn't sure what would happen when we went inside. And before long, we stood there, ready to swing those huge doors wide open. Now, I don't remember exactly who opened the door, because a bunch of us clicked it all around the same time. But then it happened. The doors opened, and we saw, for the first time, the inside of this Scarlet-infested church. Our warrior took note of all the enemy packs, and quickly decided that the best way to deal with them would be to, as before, use line of sight to pull them out into the open space. We also agreed that the best course of action would be to clear out the right-hand side of the cathedral, leaving the enemies on the left up. It was starting to get late, and we were getting tired from sitting in this dungeon for what must have been over 2 hours at this point. The bosses were just up ahead, so surely it shouldn't take too long, right? Well, we pulled that first pack out, getting aggro on a random patrol that we'd somehow missed before opening the doors. Our hunter, who had been standing in the back, lay dead, and I had to resurrect him before we continued our assault. Well, so far so good. Slowly but surely, we progressed along the right-hand wall, clearing out the rightmost and center-right packs as we did so. One by one, they fell, and before long, we faced Mograine himself. Running up to the back wall along the right-hand side, we carefully positioned ourselves for battle. Now, as you probably guessed, and especially if you know anything about SM, things didn't go as smoothly as we expected. Pulling Scarlet Commander Mograine triggered the entire cathedral. Mobs ran out from every room, from every corner of the church, and within seconds we were obliterated. Seriously? Now my gear was all red at this point, but I wasn't about to let this stop me from finishing my quest. Sure, I had no idea where Inquisitor Whitemane was, but at the very least I wanted this guy dead. So we ran back and made the intelligent decision to clear everything in the building before actually attacking the boss. And we began our renewed assault. With so little gear left, my heals barely did anything, and so progress slowed to a crawl. Mob by mob, pack by pack, and room by room we cleared. And we even found this one undead guy in the back behind a hidden door who dropped some shoulders for me. But eventually, it was time. We returned to the main chamber, rebuffed, and engaged the final boss of the Scarlet Monastery. Now I remember that first attack being thoroughly unimpressed with him, as he did pretty low damage on our tank, and he didn't seem to do much else throughout the fight. He died, and I was excited to see my quest light up as complete, but it didn't. Instead, we were greeted by the back door of the chamber swinging open, and High Inquisitor Whitemane charging out at us. Whoa. So that explains where the final boss for my quest was. Now we just had to kill her too. As before, she wasn't particularly challenging, and I thought that maybe this would be over fairly quickly. But, of course, I was wrong. AoE stun, resurrection, I really didn't expect that. We were all a bit shocked, actually, when she stunned us all and ran over to Mograine's lifeless body. And even more so when she resurrected him to full. Now I knew why these two weren't that challenging one by one. This was the real boss, fighting them together. Unfortunately, however, I had used all of my mana at this point, and now we wiped from me being unable to heal at all. Guys, I have to go, one of the DPS, though I don't remember who, said in chat. Dude, it's the last boss, let's just get it, come on, we begged him. And we begged and we begged, and eventually he must have agreed, because we made our way back inside just in time. As we ran back through that first hall, respawns began appearing behind us, and I knew that this really was the last chance we had at finishing this dungeon. We got back up to the cathedral, faced Mograine, and now that we knew what to expect, we were ready. Our warrior charged in, and I wanded, hoping to conserve as much mana as possible over the course of the fight. The Scarlet Commander fell, and out came Whitemane. Again, knowing not to use my mana needlessly, we carefully took her down. The stun went out, and we all sighed. I had somewhere around 60% mana left at this point. This was it. The two attacked, and we focused all of our damage on Whitemane. Within seconds, she fell. My mana was running out, but I knew that we had this. Mograine hit the floor, and my quest lit up. All 4 bosses were defeated. We had conquered the Scarlet Monastery. I hope you enjoyed my short saga of my Scarlet Monastery adventure. I'm sure you'll be happy to know that Whitemane did indeed drop her chapeau, and though the mage in our group ended up winning it that first run, I did eventually get it on a later run through, so everything worked out for everyone. It's funny, But one of the clearest memories out of all of these stories was how our group almost fell apart at the very end of the dungeon. But through our joint camaraderie, we decided to stick it out and managed to achieve something great, even in a mid-level dungeon. That's something that I really miss from the game nowadays, and something that I can't wait for in WoW Classic. That feeling of obligation to your group mates as you go through these challenges and trials. You can't just duck out right at the end, even if real life is pulling you. You've got to be in it for the long haul, no matter what. Anyway, if you enjoyed this story, why don't you leave a comment and let me know what you think? Or subscribe for more content in the future. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter for more updates on when things come out, and check over my blog over on Blogspot. There's still a lot more to come, especially as I approach that big 4-0, so be ready for more. But until next time, take it easy, guys.